Something I've been, when I defended Atlanta's draft pick, when they got Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix, and people really freaked out. You paid Kirk Cousins what? So here's what's interesting. So the Broncos this morning think they have the guy. Bo Nix, analytically, there's a story this morning from Adam Schefter. They think Bo Nix is ready to play right now and will be as good as any quarterback of all this rookie class. So suddenly this franchise that was a mess and all this dead cap money with Russell Wilson, they took a big swing on it. I said, Denver, big swing, Russell Wilson, I'm here for it. Everybody now freaks out. But if Bo Nix can play, they just got Zach Wilson. He'll get a reboot, talented kid. And they have Jarrett Stidham, who they could use potentially as a very nice trade piece. 66 quarterbacks played in the NFL last year. Pretty nice to have three guys, and you could move two of them. And you think you have the future in Bo Nix. And this is why I've defended Atlanta. If you're going to have more talent than you need right now in the NFL, make it at quarterback. Eventually, you can move backups. I mean, good God. Arizona was able to get a draft pick out of Josh Dobbs last year in the middle of the season. Minnesota was so desperate. So if Bo Nix hits, the Russell Wilson drama is irrelevant. And I'm going to tell you something now, and nobody wants to say this because fear drives so many decisions in the NFL and in life. People are very fear-based. Go to the internet about the election. It's all fear-based. Everything's fear-based. Nobody's optimistic. Everybody's negative. The word dead cap, when you hear that, everybody thinks, oh, it's a funeral. It's an NFL funeral. Dead cap money. I would much rather have teams take swings and end up with a little dead cap. Give you an example. The Green Bay Packers last year. Do you know how much dead cap money they had? $40 million. They not only made the playoffs, they went into Dallas and rolled them. Why? Because Jordan Love balled. The Buccaneers made the playoffs last year. $35 million of dead cap. They made the playoffs. Why? Because Baker Mayfield balled.
Okay, Buccaneers are not a good team. Let's not pretend like anything. That was a terrible division. The NFC was like out of control as a whole, and then they beat an injured bad Eagles. So let's tap the brakes on there. The Packers, 100%, absolutely. The Buccaneers, no, get the heck out of here.
They took a swing. They took a big swing on Brady. They won a Super Bowl. Who the hell cares if they have dead cap money? Go get another quarterback. Oh, it doesn't end there. The Rams last year, listen to this. $80 million of dead cap. Made the playoffs in a rebuild year. Why? Because they take big swings and Matt Stafford can ball. In Philadelphia, remember that 2021? Carson Wentz, what a disaster that contract is. They took a big swing. Huge dead cap money. But they drafted Jalen Hurts. He ends up being good with the right coach. Has Philadelphia struggled in recent years? Been a pretty good football team. Philadelphia, the Rams, the Packers. It's funny, Buccaneers. They're all fine. They took swings. Tampa took a swing on Brady and got a Super Bowl. You think they regret it today? 4 of the 5 highest dead cap hits last year made the playoffs. They made the playoffs. Green Bay took a big swing. They moved off Aaron Rodgers. Buccaneers made a big swing with Brady, won a Super Bowl. And then they took a swing on Baker. If Bo Nix can play, then the Russell Wilson thing, it's going to be last year's news. Nobody's going to care. Where you don't want to be in the NBA, where you don't want to be, is in the middle. You're in quicksand. You're not terrible. You're not great. A big swing can make you great and get your ring. And if it blows up, you get a better draft pick. It's like the Phoenix Suns took a huge swing on KD and Bradley Beal. Everybody's freaking out. But you know who could really use Kevin Durant? The New York Knicks. And they got picks and they got good young players. Take swings. The whole Russell Wilson thing, it's the end of if Bo Nix can play. The dude completed 77% of his passes last year. He's Drew Brees with mobility potentially. The Russell Wilson drama won't matter. It didn't for the Rams. It didn't for the Packers. It didn't for the Bucs. 4 of the top 5 dead cap hits made the playoffs. Now,
okay, so this is so interesting to hear Colin now change his tune. And what's really interesting is, this is what I think's happening. I don't think Colin has good of a relationship with Sean Payton as he once did. When Sean Payton was entering the media, he was able to talk to him. He had him on his show. They built up that rapport. Now that Sean Payton is back in the NFL, I imagine Sean Payton is, rolled up the windows a little bit higher. Not so quick to answer that text. He's got stuff to do. And Colin, at the heart, did not think that this was a good pick. He said it before. He said it on his own private podcast. He's not real high on this pick at all. And one of the ways how we know that as well, outside of him just straight up saying it, is now he's trying to be like, hey, look, it's like a smokescreen. Look at all these other teams doing things, and it worked out for them. So, hey, who's to say it's not going to work out for the Broncos? Don't be so quick to judge them. When he's defended other picks that he thought were great, like the Penix Jr., he gave a true emphatic, this guy will be great. He can win this, that, and the third. He's also now just saying other people are saying, Adam Schefter, the Denver Broncos, Albert Breer, he's saying that's what these guys are saying. But he's not really saying what he thinks. And I think that's his way of being able to still, keep a good standing with Sean Payton. Because I think at the heart of it, he does not like this pick. Colin respects Nick Wright a tremendous amount, and especially for his football knowledge. He really respects him and listens to him. Nick Wright thinks that this is a terrible pick, an awful pick, and Nick Wright was laughing hysterically, was just, so happy that the Broncos did this because he sees it as being just a terrible move for the Broncos, and, that'll help the Kansas City Chiefs. And if that's how Nick Wright feels, I know that Colin at least believes that to a degree. Maybe not as extreme as Nick Wright, but I have to imagine that they are closer to seeing eye to eye than they are farther apart. And so it's just really fascinating that Colin does not really want to plant the flag on his show, on Colin Cowherd, the Herd, and be like, this was a disaster move. What is Sean Payton doing? Huh? What a reach by this guy. He doesn't want to say that. If it was the Chicago Bears, if it was the Steelers, if it was the Eagles, if it was any other team, maybe not, the Kansas City Chiefs or the other boy that he wants to be with, Sean McVay, he would be saying, this was a reach. This is what desperate franchises do. This is what poor franchises do. So it's really, really interesting to see him kind of walk this tightrope. And that's part of the problem when you do have connections in media, in the NFL or NBA or wherever, because you get to have good information. You get to learn. You get good insider information. You get to have a better feel for what's going on, whether it be in the locker room, the draft process, whatever. But then you also can't fully share your honest, unfiltered opinions. You have to toe that line. And I find that really, really interesting. I've now made a handful of videos with regards to Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. I think this is a great pick. I think, again, every draft for a quarterback is a swing. Every draft, whether you trade up, trade back, draft number 1, the last pick, it's all swings. They're all swings. You have no idea. The NFL is littered with random players that you had no idea were going to be anything. Whether it's the very famous story of Kurt Warner, obviously Tom Brady, arguably the most famous story. Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy most recently. And then these other top picks, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson, Johnny Manziel. They're disasters. You could say that, well, hey, Baker Mayfield's playing pretty good. He was the number 1 overall pick. He was supposed to be a Mahomes. That is what the expectations were. That he was going to be able to really be able to compete and fight for Super Bowls and championships. And that is not Baker Mayfield. Yes, he's having a little bit more success now, but that is not Baker Mayfield. He's a worthy quarterback. He is one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the NFL for sure. He's not a number one overall pick. So get out of here with that. So this whole idea that anyone has any idea is hilarious to me. It's absurd. So I just think that you have no reason not to be optimistic for Bo Nix. And the reports that you're getting do seem sincere and genuine. And so then you do have to trust the Broncos and Sean Payton. You have to just say, all right, if I'm a fan of this organization, I have to just have some faith. And I have to have faith in Sean Payton. And if he fails at this, then you can now start to be more skeptical. If Bo Nix ends up being a failure, and now they have to start from ground zero again, then you could be like, all right, who's actually Sean Payton? What the heck is the front office doing for the Broncos? This is insane. People need to get fired. You need to get a quarterback already. Everyone else is getting a quarterback, and you can't. What is going on? Then you could hold the Broncos organization feet to the fire more. Because they really haven't had a quarterback since, a little temporary stay with Peyton Manning, who ended up winning, but not really because of his quarterback play, quite honestly. Go rewatch that Super Bowl, and it was like, my gosh. So I think you have all the reason to be optimistic with Bo Nix. He has a great track record, great character, mature, ready to go. He's all about the business. He's focused. He's not chirping. He's not saying things like, I'm about to take the league by storm. I'm chasing immortality and Super Bowls like Caleb Williams is saying, which, again, I support Caleb Williams as well, so I don't mean that to come off as a dig towards Caleb Williams, although some of the things that he is saying I'm not crazy about. I think you need humility. And this is what I said with my last video about Bo Nix, is that Bo Nix strikes me as someone who's incredibly humble, which I think is very important in the NFL, especially when you're a quarterback and a rookie, going in. And he's very lucky to have a coach like Sean Payton. Whether we think Sean Payton is truly one of the best offensive minds, that maybe technically remains to be seen still. But I am confident that he is a very competent and a good coach, a good to great coach. Is he an elite coach? We'll have to. I think you need to do a little bit more success than just Drew Brees, right? But he is obviously a really, really, really good to great offensive-minded coach, and I think he will be able to mold Bo Nix into exactly what he wants. And I think Bo Nix is the type of athlete and the type of player who will do exactly what is asked from him, which is exactly what Patrick Mahomes did with Andy Reid. And Patrick Mahomes is now obviously one of the best to ever do it. Tom Brady soaked up everything Bill Belichick had to say about defenses and learned it all. They had their weekly meeting where Bill taught, Brady everything about defense. And now because of that, Brady was able to know the defenses better than any other quarterback in the history of the NFL. Those things matter. That's why I do have a little bit of questions about Caleb Williams, because I don't know if he has the humility and humbleness to soak up any wisdom that's being thrown his way. Not to mention, I don't know if he has the coaches that you should even necessarily be listening to as you would, say, an Andy Reid, Shanahan, Sean McVay. That's what makes Brock Purdy so good, is his humility, is the fact that Shanahan says, you go left, go right, up, down, that's what I need you to do. And Brock Purdy goes, okay, up, down, right, left, up, down, right, left, up, down, right, left, up, down. And he does it. You have some of these other quarterbacks that are like, yeah, up, down, left, right. All right, sure, we'll see. Right? That's the Kyler Murrays. That's the Baker Mayfields. Those are those quarterbacks who are like, nah, okay, whatever. Yeah, I got it. We'll do it. I proved everyone wrong in college. They doubted me from day one. They're going to continue to doubt me. Let's go. That may have got you into the league. It's not going to get you far in the league. So I think that's arguably the best thing that Bo Nix has for him, is his humility, and he has a good enough foundational skill set to succeed in the NFL that with that, I think he could continue to elevate. So I'm really excited to see what happens here. I think that division will, within the next couple of years, is going to be ruthless, right? To have the Chiefs, the Chargers are coming, the Broncos are coming. Who knows what the heck the Raiders are doing, but that alone now is going to be ferocious. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you think about Bo Nix? Do you think he is as good as any quarterback in the NFL draft? And what do you think about Colin Cowherd trying to toe this line between really holding back what he really feels about Bo Nix and trying to maintain his relationship with Sean Payton, who originally was slated to be a regular guest weekly on his show before he got another head coaching job. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.